I had heard a voice when I came into this world. If that was God, then he sounded like a good enough guy. He didn't sound like he would take advantage of me. Or maybe that was what he wanted me to think. But then again, okay, I should stop. Blindly doubting everything in the absence of evidence would drop me into a spiral skepticism. Nothing bad happened so far, so I shouldn't think about it too much. Goblins are G-rank threats, but taking that many down at once was impressive. Threat? Ranks? Never heard that one before. Was that a term people used to describe how dangerous a monster was? You don't know? Randall proceeded to tell Fran about threat levels. It wasn't like we had anything else to talk about, so he gave a decent explanation about how they worked. Adventurer ranks. Rank G, newbie with a provisional license, not an actual adventurer. Rank F, apprentice, beginner adventurer. Rank E, average adventurer who can proclaim themselves as such. Rank D, mid-rank, can be a party leader. Rank C, veteran, superhuman by civilian standards. Rank B, top class, usually the strongest member of a small guild. Rank A, hero, select few within a given country. Bards begin singing songs about you at this rank. Rank S, legend, only 8 have ever existed. Kings bow before them, and they have the authority to command guild masters. Monster threat levels. Level G, trash mobs. An adult male can take them down no problem. Goblins, fang rats. Level F, can take down a merchant caravan. Giant bear, wolf pack. Level E, can destroy a village. Lesser wyvern, ogre. Level D, can destroy a town. Lesser hydra, blast tortoise. Level C, can destroy a city. Night battalion dispatched. Tyrant saber-tooth, lesser demons. Level B, can destroy a country. Entire military force dispatched. Greater demons, greater dragons, giant kings. Level A, can destroy a continent. Demon lord, dragon kings, lich. And level S, can destroy the world. The stuff of legends, Fenrir, and legendary dragons. It was standard practice for adventurers of the same rank to band together and take down monsters of an equal threat level. An adventurer could also even solo a monster who was a rank lower than him. Goblins were the weakest of the bunch, but a pack of them could increase their threat level. A crew of 5 could bump their threat level from G to F. Considering Fran took care of them in no time flat, she was probably as strong as an E-rank adventurer. Still, I never ran into goblins on this part of the highway before. Really? Yep, the adventurers would patrol these parts from time to time, you see. The adventurers, they had a guild too, by the sound of it. It was all fantastical, and I couldn't wait to check it out. I'm no spring chicken, but I can handle a goblin or two. I identified Randall to see what his stats were like. Name, Randall. Age, 39. Race, human. Class, merchant. Level, 13. HP, 32. Magic, 15. Strength, 20. Agility, 22. Skills, Transport, 3. Driver, 2. Negotiate, 2. Arithmetic, 5. Trade, 6. Spear Mastery, 3. Conversation, 2. Equipment, Iron Spear, Leather Breastplate, Spider Silk Mantle. He wouldn't lose in a one-on-one fight with a goblin, but he would have a rough time facing a whole gaggle of them. I noticed Fran's stats far outpaced Randall's at level 4, which I found quite ridiculous. The monsters have been going a little crazy this month. A month ago, that was when I had cleared Area 5. Why is that? I hear something happened in the Demon Wolf's Garden. The Demon Wolf's Garden? Never heard of it? It's an A-rank hunt to the east of here. Is it famous? Of course. It's not one of the 10 hunts, but it's still A-rank. The hunt referred to an area that was ruled by monsters. Dungeons fell under this category. They were categorized from G to S rank according to their threat level. A rank was the second most dangerous level. It wasn't quite as dangerous as the S rank spots, dubbed as the 10 hunts, but it was up there. So that's where I hunted for a month. Now that I thought about it, the bosses were pretty tough. One thing was bothering me though. Why is it called the Demon Wolf's Garden? I didn't run into any wolf monsters out in the grasslands. Most of the monsters in the western areas were feline even. There was no reason for it to be called the Demon Wolf's Garden. Legend has it that it's the resting place of the great wolf Fenrir, an S-rank monster. Even now, Fenrir's magical energy still emanates from the center of this garden. Funnily enough, the center is populated with weak monsters because of it. Such an odd phenomenon. So I had this Fenrir to thank for setting up the barrier. Without it, starting out would have been much tougher. Shame to know he was already dead though. I wanted to thank him in person. But was there a reason I happened to wake up there too? I needed to know. There's something that looks like an altar in the middle of the garden, but no one knows who made it or what it's for. Scholars are still searching it to this day. What about me? Do the legends say anything about a sword? Is there a sword on the altar? A sword? Don't know anything about that. And here I thought I'd found out about my origins. Guess it's not that easy. Unfortunately, that was all Randall knew. The Demon Wolf's Garden is surrounded by the Withering Forest, so named because it has the ability to drain mana from the creatures living inside it. I had felt the pain of that forest firsthand. I never wanted to go back there if I could help it. The stronger monsters of the Wolf's Garden couldn't get out because of the forest, but it still affects the local wildlife. The stronger monsters will fight each other for territory once every couple of years. I see. There was something like a succession of area bosses. When that happens, the weaker monsters in the forest and the surrounding areas will get more aggressive out of fear. They'd flee from the stronger monster's presence and eventually wind up on this highway here. It's probably turf war season again. This was completely my fault for killing all the area bosses. I didn't think it will have this much of a ripple effect. Whoops. Randall hadn't been sure whether to proceed or turn back with the recent monster sightings, but he decided to keep going so we could make the delivery date. I'm sorry for the trouble, Mr. Randall, sir. I'll waive the protection fees as a show of goodwill. Seriously though, sorry about that. 2 hours went by as we were carried along in Randall's cart. And there's Alessa now. I could see a wall in the distant horizon, and it seemed to be surrounding a city. It was still far off in the distance, and it took another 2 hours before I could make out the finer points of the city of Alessa. It was quite large. From Randall's explanation, it seemed to be the biggest town around here with a population of 10,000 people. It was also the only town that had big enough adventurers guild. Now that the town was in sight, I remembered my earlier worry. How much is the entrance fee? 300 G. Goblin horns were cheap outside the Adventurers Guild, so I was at a loss for what to do. I needed to ask him the price of food and lodging, then we could start calculating a budget. How much for a night at an inn? The cheapest one will do. A cheap's inn about 200 G a night. No meals, of course. The average price of food was about 50 G. Bread was 10 G a pop. A cheap knife was 300 G. And the bats were 20 G per entry. I guess that 1 G was worth about 10 Japanese yen back home. A copper coin was worth 1 G, and 10 coins of the same value were worth 1 of the next value. In ascending order, the coinage went copper, silver, large silver, gold, and large gold. Randall himself had never seen a large gold coin. How much would we get if we sold our goblin horns to the guild? A set of 2 would net you 20 G. A normal merchant would buy them off for 5 G. They were both next to nothing. We were going to have to hunt 10 goblins a day to stay 1 night in an inn. Should we just take our high-rank monster parts out of the pocket dimension and sell those? I was considering this option, but Randall refused to buy them. I mainly deal in food and weaponry. I know the price of common items like goblin horns, but I don't know enough about these items to give you a fair price for them. Seriously? Should I just sell it to him cheap anyway? That would be kind of a waste though. I detected something in the distance as I mulled over this problem. We told Randall to slow down so we could scout ahead. Sure enough, there were my old friends, the goblins, lying in wait in the bushes. They must have thought they had a winning strategy, but Fran and I made quick work of them with our skills and magic. We carved off 5 sets of horns and noticed one of the goblins had been carrying a sword. A wooden club may not have been worth the wood it was carved out of, but the sword had to have been worth something. Lucky us, we might just break 300 G if we sell all this stuff to Randall. We brought the sword back to Randall and he bought it for 100 G, which was more than I expected. Is it really worth that much? It's made of bronze, but it's still in good condition. The greens must have flinched it off an adventurer. Great, now we could enter the city. We hunted down a monster called Black Bug along the way and sold its parts to Randall. It was a giant beetle, about 50 centimeters long, whose shell could be fashioned into armor for newbie adventurers. It was worth 20 G. These monsters sure were cheap though. 20 G for armor materials? It may have been better to hunt goblins that had weapons on them. The goblins and I must have been fated to meet. Hey there, Randall. Good to see you in one piece. Thanks. I ran into some trouble on my way here though. Who's that little lady with you? Found her on the road. She'll be coming with me too. You got it. It's a good thing you ran into old Randall here. He's a good, strong man, ain't he? Randall forced a wry grin at the gatekeeper's comment. Fran was the one guarding Randall after all. We wanted to lay low though, which was why we asked him to tell the guard Fran was a normal girl on a journey. That'll be 300 G, and here are your temporary permits. They're good for 3 days. You'll have to pay an extension fee if you overstay, so be careful. Randall had also told us earlier that we needed an official identification card or an adventurer's card if we wanted to stay here for free. We had to head to the guild immediately after this. Welcome to the city of Alessa. The Adventurers Guild didn't have an age limit for its applicants, but it did have a placement test. We had to pass it to get our identification card. Well, I'll be heading back on my shop. Are you going straight to the guild, Fran? My shop's in the west along the main road. Can't miss it. Do come by if you have time. And with that, Randall left. We never asked about Fran's circumstances. He never asked about Fran's circumstances, about the girl who was strong, as she was ignorant. She clearly had her share of problems, but he was sensitive to it, and he kept his curiosity to himself. He was a good person. We should visit him once we had some money. I remembered him telling us he mostly dealt with adventurers on our way here. Let's go. Yeah, said Fran.